Logging 600 into the left.
All I need is you, baby, baby. Proclaim to be known.
Welcome to a Monday version of Mercy Ships Monday, which will come out on Tuesday, but it's still Monday. I'll throw in a little bit of vlogging at the end, but basically today I thought I'd tell one story from Togo. I have a lot of stories from Togo. Lots of stories from all these places. It's really hard to get them all, but the second time I ever owned a motorcycle myself was when I was living in Togo. We went out and bought motorcycles, because motorcycles in West Africa are kind of a big thing. And when we were in Sierra Leone, there were motorcycle taxis that you could ride to get anywhere in town, which is a little bit tricky because things were nuts. Like the traffic was insane. You always had at least the 2 lanes of traffic in whatever tiny road you're on, plus all the people walking around, and then motorcycles going in and out of that. And then you'd ride on the back of some other guy's motorcycle, you'd pay him a little bit and zip around. I wasn't super confident in that when I was in Sierra Leone. I think I tried it a couple of times towards the end, but it took me some getting used to, just as an idea, especially because in Sierra Leone with the hills, there were certain paths that would take, they're basically like riding on a cliff's edge, and it was a little bit sketchy. By the time we got to Togo, however, I was fully on board, and it was one of the easiest, cheapest ways to get around town. It was just to flag down some guy with a motorcycle, offer to pay him a certain amount, and then ride off. And there were certain amounts for the distance that you went, and once you knew that, you knew you weren't getting ripped off, they were getting a good deal, and you were getting a ride to wherever you needed to go. However, we did end up going and buying our own motorcycles. This was one of the big things we were all really excited for, a handful of us. My buddy Kyle and I were extremely excited. We actually almost bought a tandem motorcycle, like a motorcycle and a sidecar. Old army green BMW setup that was definitely too expensive. It was out of our price range. We ended up buying little Chinese motorcycles, 125s, the Sanya brand, which you may have never heard of before. They were fantastic. They were great for getting around town quickly, going on shawarma runs, clearing your head. We made a couple of trips up country on them, out of the country. We drove them to Benin on an amazing, if not pseudo-hellish trip, which I'll have to tell you about sometime. It's like the most extreme motorcycle trip I've ever taken, and the most injuries I think I've ever incurred on one single trip before. And we tried to take them on our trip to hell when we went back to Ghana from Togo, and that also, the motorcycles were part of the reason that the trip was hellish, among other reasons. We've had our share, but we had a lot of fun with them. The motorcycles were really cool because they were inexpensive to maintain as well. We would obviously have to go out and fuel them up ourselves, so you can find fuel on the side of the road, random people selling them in jars, as well as at gas stations as usual. But then the nice thing was that because we knew a bunch of local mechanics through our day crew, the people that worked on the ship during the day, local staff, we were able to find guys who would do oil changes and maintenance for us really inexpensively. So we just kind of gave them regular business, and we pay them, can't remember if it was $5 or $10 a week, and they would just go through and make sure everything was okay. They'd change the oil, clean it, make sure everything was ace, and then we'd get it back. And that was like the magic number. I think it was $10, even after my wrecks. I could always get my bike repaired for about $10, no matter what the problem was with it. So they were doing okay when they were just changing the oil, because I definitely had multiple parts replaced once for $10, which involved taking the entire thing apart and putting it back together again. So yeah, it's crazy. They were a lot of fun though. It was a lot of fun to ride them. They even featured in a couple of videos that we made while we were on the ship, which was a lot of fun. And it was just a great way to get on and off the ship. They were ridiculous. Not only did they have alarms on them, they also had remote starts and stops, so you could start the bike remotely. I don't know why I do that, but stopping the bike was really funny. We actually at one point let 2 Dutch nurses ride our bikes along the dock, and we simultaneously cut their engines as they were coming together, and we timed it perfectly so they coasted and stopped right next to each other, and they couldn't figure out why the motorcycles had stopped running until we showed them, of course. That was really funny. We had a lot of really funny moments like that. And yeah, I loved having a motorcycle in West Africa. It was definitely a good place to learn how to really ride a motorcycle as well, because you kind of rode, it was like a school of fish. You just had a crowd of people on motorcycles all riding together, and you just kind of learned how to navigate the madness that was riding in like a crowd of motorcycles. And it was really good. I learned a lot. Because obviously the driving conditions were pretty terrible, and at every opportunity, cars would pretty much actively try to kill you. So if you can learn how to ride in that, you, I think, will be a very observant and safe rider in any other environment. And it's one of the reasons why I want to get a motorcycle here in France again, because I think it'd be a lot of fun to have a motorcycle and be able to travel regionally, if not across the country, if not a little bit internationally. Just hop on the back of a motorcycle, take it out of town. You could take roads off the beaten path, visit villages and small towns you wouldn't be able to get to otherwise, and just really explore. I'm hoping to do that. in the next year or two. I'd really like to get a motorcycle, but that brings up problems with having to have, you know, a driver's license here in France. I think I gotta look into that and see. I'm endorsed in the States. I have my motorcycle endorsement. Does it work here? I don't know. We'll find out. Anyways, that's a little bit of a Mercy Ships Monday for you. On the motorcycle front, obviously I've got tons of different stories from Togo. KFG. Oh man, I have so many stories from Togo that I would love to share, and hopefully we'll come back around to them. But yeah, there you go. There's a little bit of a Togo story for you. Now we'll get back to the, you know, rest of the day thing, and I'm going to go ahead and go for a run. So by the time I go for a run in the vlog, you'll know when I filmed this portion during the actual course of my day, if that makes any sense to you whatsoever. Bye. Good morning. It's far colder here in Paris today than it should be. On a Monday morning, it's Monday. Forgot to mention that part. Don't believe me? Look.
All I need is you,
Look at that.
baby, baby.
It's terrible. Look at it. Look at it. It's so pretty. It needs to not be there. That's not. It's not okay. So I'm just gonna put on a sweater because this is just ridiculous. I feel better now though. Definitely a little warmer. Isn't spring supposed to officially start soon? Like, what is this madness? Anyways, I need to go downtown. I'm gonna get some work done. I'm gonna sit, I'm gonna have some hot coffee, and I'm gonna try and get on top of all the little things that I didn't, because this weekend was spent just being partially destroyed and also trying to catch up on some sleep. I slept really well last night. I slept very, very well last night. I think I hit the pillow and didn't wake up again for like 7 or 8 hours. And then I naturally woke up right before my alarm was gonna go off, and then struggled to get up for another 20 minutes because I still need another good night's sleep or two, and then we should be good to go. Okay. Andiamo.
Love. Over. Love.
There are a couple of different ways today could go. Probably try to tell a Togo story because I owe you a Mercy Ships Monday. And today is technically Monday, so we're still, you know, kind of within the bounds if you aren't bothered by the time vortex that is trying to vlog every day. There's that. And then I'd like to talk about just the difference a year in vlogging makes, because we're coming up on VidCon, and I remember going to VidCon last year and I only had like 700 subscribers, something like that. It was just like, I'm never gonna make it anywhere with my channel. I don't know, I just didn't think that I was a little bit discouraged. It'll be interesting to reflect on that as we head to Amsterdam. And I just downloaded the app for the tickets. Thanks, Paul. So we'll be heading to Amsterdam very soon. Moment, I'm just gonna freeze a little bit and we'll talk about Togo. I think that sounds like a plan. Time to go, but I may have taken a peek at this already. Simon, thank you. Which is actually be kind of cool. Hold on a second. That is a very on-brand T-shirt. Thank you, Simon. Here you go, Paul.
Wow, there you go. That's pretty cool.
I'd put it on right now if it was remotely appropriate. Thank you. I totally forgot I was supposed to go see Jean-Yves to chat, have a drink, and I don't know, he's got some cool stuff going on. Thankfully, my calendar reminded me I'm 30 minutes late. Or no, I'm not late at all. I'm 30 minutes until we meet. He's about 30 minutes away. Anyways, I should stop dilly-dallying and start going.
All I need is you, baby, baby.
The downside to this, of course, is that I was gonna go for a run. I was actually just digging up my warm underclothing to put on, get ready to go. I don't know if I'm gonna go for a run now, that we'll see. The timing may not work out at all, and it's super cold, but I wanna earn my bonus points, run when it's freezing, so Guess that's not gonna happen. We'll see, maybe I will. Especially now that I've got a bet with Cheryl on the whole, like, which bottle's gonna get opened first on the goal board. Anyways, I think I'll probably leave it here. I mean, we'll see. I gotta film Luke, of course. So we'll see if we end on Luke, and then that'll probably be the end of the day. Unless we go for a run, then I'll need the proof. Otherwise, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. If you're interested in the Mercy Chips Mondays stories, I've got a lot more where that came from, and I'll probably keep doing them for a while. But the reason I'm doing them is because I'm getting ready to go visit the ship next month, which is really, really exciting. So if you'd like to stick around and see Cameroon, you'll get your chance here soon. Anyways, that's enough for me. Now to Luke and maybe running. Go ahead and throw it.
All I need is you. Baby, baby. Oh.
I ended up at W for a walk instead of running. The forgotten meeting with Johnny totally threw the evening off. So I ended up eating dinner. I had a craving for Asian food afterwards. So I ended up for W for walk, which is the best Asian street food that I know of in Paris, and now I'm getting stuffed as quickly as I can. Good to see Luke. Good to hang out with Jean-Yves. Really interesting stuff coming up. I'm looking forward to it. We have some ideas floating. I'm really looking forward to hanging with Jean-Yves and Fred and Luke more as time goes on, but in the meantime, I'm just gonna pretty much stuff my craw.